Salam and hello everybody. I hope you're all doing really well. So in this video I share a craft idea for autumn and I bake a delicious Lotus Biscoff Cheesecake. Mashallah, it was so yummy and I can't wait to bake it again. So at the moment, two of my kids are self-isolating. They're not at school because some kids in their class tested positive for COVID. Alhamdulillah, my kids are completely fine, but it means that I'm homeschooling. So on this particular day, I had Weetabix for breakfast and I make sure to take my vitamin D tablet every morning. It's really important. They're even putting it on the news and media now how important it is, especially against COVID. And there's Uthman, my 10-year-old, doing some homeschooling. And while he was getting on with that, I put out the laundry, which is just never ending. And the day before, I'd gone to the park with Ayub and Haroon and we picked up some autumn leaves. So we thought we'd stick them down on some paper. So that's an activity I did with Ayub. He was more interested in just putting loads of glue all over the paper and wasn't really interested in sticking the leaves on. So it was quite a busy day, but I managed to squeeze in a coffee for lunch and a flapjack and managed to catch up on a bit of social media. It's nice to have that 5-10 minutes to yourself. Even if it does mean looking at Boris Johnson's face. So this is a little autumn craft idea that'd be lots of fun, especially with kids, and it costs basically nothing. Well, just for the glue and paint. So I've got an empty can of mushroom soup. I just washed it and then took the label off and then painted it with this spray paint that's from Poundland, and I just thought I'd paint it white, let that dry. And I remember doing this when I was younger at school. To make a letter look old, you'd soak some paper in tea or coffee and then write a letter and it looked like you've got a letter from the olden days. So I've got my paper dipped in tea and then I'm just putting some glue on the painted tin can, which is dry, and then just cover the tin with the paper just to give it a more like autumnal look, so to make it a little bit brown. The paper was still wet, which made it easier to stick it onto the tin. And then I'm just covering that with some more glue. It's just some normal PVA glue. I had some autumn leaves left over from those that we picked, so I thought I'd stick them onto the can using PVA glue again. It was a little bit difficult to stick them on. I think I should have wet them a little bit. So just run them under the tap maybe, I don't know, just to kind of soften them a bit. But yeah, after a few layers of glue, I managed to get there. So leave that to dry. I left it overnight. And then I thought I'd put some lovely glitter over it. So put some more glue on and then cover with some glitter. And I thought I'd use it as a planter or to hold my flowers. And I think it looks really cute and it's a fun little activity for the kids to do. So back to dinner time, I was going to make some chapatis. So I've got 4 cups of chapati flour. I made a well in the center of the flour, and I tend to just make my chapati flour or the dough in the sink, so I can just keep adding water as and when I need to. So I just filled it with some cold water. I don't add any salt or oil when I'm making my dough for chapatis. I just add the flour and water and then just mix it and knead it well until it's well kneaded and a nice soft dough. So leave that to rest, ideally for at least 30 minutes. And I thought I'd water my plants while I left it resting. And then I made the chapatis. So with the 4 cups of flour, how many chapatis do we make? It's enough for the family. So I think it's about 7 or 8 chapatis. And they're quite big, as you can see. We had a lamb curry with the chapatis and it was really delicious, mashallah. I didn't have the biggest portion in the world because I'm trying not to eat too much. So that's why I baked a Lotus Biscoff Cheesecake. So I'd bought the spread and I really wanted to make something nice with it, and I bought some more biscuits and I searched for a nice recipe and I came across this one and I thought that looks so good. Like, how nice and beautiful does that look, mashallah. So I attempted to bake it. Mine looked nowhere near as amazing as that, but it was delicious, mashallah. So I'll link you to the recipe that I followed, but it was really straightforward. So I've got 30 Lotus Biscoff biscuits. I'm processing them. I've melted, I think it's 85 grams of unsalted butter. And just mix the butter and the biscuits. Keep about 50 grams of the biscuit mixture aside to use as topping later. So in your cake tin, put the biscuit base and just spread that evenly. Press it down with the back of a spoon. And then you can bake it, or you don't have to bake it, but it tastes nice when you bake it. And then to a mixing bowl, add 300 ml of double cream. Whisk that until it's stiff. Put that aside and then add 200 grams of Lotus Biscoff spread to a mixing bowl. This is actually so delicious. I wasn't that impressed when I tried the biscuits. I wasn't that impressed with them because they are really hyped up online, but the spread, the Biscoff spread, is just delicious. So we've got 75 grams of icing sugar and 350 grams of soft cheese or cream cheese, an eighth of a teaspoon of salt. Just whisk that all together until it's lovely and smooth. And then add in the double cream that was whisked earlier. Mix that all in. And the filling is actually really lovely and fluffy and a bit more like a mousse. It's so delicious, mashallah. Definitely want to try, and I can't wait to make it again and make it properly. So yeah, the filling, just spread it evenly in the cake tin. Cover the baking tin with some plastic. I used this shower cap, and then I popped it in the fridge for 24 hours overnight, but at least 6 hours is okay. So for the topping, you need to melt some more of the spread, the Biscoff spread. And I was holding Haroon at the time and he launched for it, so I lost half of the topping. And I was struggling to spread it over the top of the cheesecake, so I was really disappointed. But I tried my best and I was literally just making a mess with it, because as you're spreading it, it's meant to be hot, but the cheesecake is nice and fresh, so it starts to set as you're spreading it, and if you've not got enough topping, you're just fighting with it. So I put the 2 biscuits over it. It's like a plaster to fix the mess that I'd made. But yeah, then I'm just putting the 50 grams of biscuit that were put aside earlier, and it doesn't look too bad actually, but I wanted it to look like the one that I followed. But don't let this fool you, it tasted so good, mashallah. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Salam. Bye.